Hello and welcome to another evening with Tilda Center, and with me, of course, and another evening of working on our backend blog. So last week we have what have we done? Yeah, we created a way to list our blog posts. Today we are gonna do some more API implementations, which will require us to change database a little bit more. So today basically what we're gonna do is collect all. Yeah, I jumped straight into talking. Yeah, never mind. Hopefully everything works. So we are gonna collect all our knowledge we learned so far, and we are gonna use it today, I guess. Uh, what I mean by that, let me go into the models first, and let's open our BlogPy model. This file is a little bit different than what you last saw. What I have added is a slug field, a published field, an image field, and this function, which I will explain in a second. Just a second, I might be making a mistake here. I just noticed in my code. I wanna make sure. No, it's okay. Perfect. So let's start with the slug first. What slug is? It is nothing more than a string, but a special string. When we have our communication with backend and frontend, when we want to specify exactly one blog post in our case, or exactly one post or some kind of database entry, but from the front end we don't really know how to get the uniqueness or unique ID that's stored in the database and stuff. But what we do know is the part of the URL that's pointing to that blog. In our case, blog, of course. Now the slug is exactly that part in URL by some standard, I guess, common use or whatever. What we do is just change all the spaces inside the slug to dashes, and we put it all into lowercase, which we will do in this save function. I will explain that in a minute when we come to it. What this field does, it's a boolean field, basically true or false, because we are gonna have our blog, and you're making a blog, you're writing something, and at some point you save it, but you don't want it publicly available. You might want to keep it private for all the time, just for yourself, or maybe you're not finished with it, so you want to wait until you get more inspiration or whatever. So that's what this field tells us, whether it's published or not, whether it can be available to the world. We are gonna use that field when we return our blogs. So when the outside user that's not logged in says, okay, comes to our page and tells, okay, let me see what kind of posts you have, he can see only published blogs. And an image is just it will just represent a URL to the image where just to have some image in your blog, so it doesn't be blank. You have some representation or something. Now, this interesting function here is because PV is the way the PV works. It doesn't apply changes to the database until you tell him, okay, do save function, and it will save whatever you created inside its object. So you can see that. Just a second, I messed something up. Okay, you can see that, I believe, from the top of my head. Yeah, you can see that here. What we are doing is getting all the arguments inside the blog object. We are adding the user as blog author, and then we are calling we are calling blog.save, which actually applies our changes inside the database. So what we are doing here is we are actually overriding our save function to do a little bit more than what PV gives us. What we are doing is, okay, checking if self.slug is empty. Then we are gonna use the title of our blog as a slug for our URL, and we are gonna do self.slug. Okay, self is just inviting the same object we're working with. Basically, we are putting all the title letters to lowercase, and we are replacing spaces with dashes, as I mentioned. And then we are calling this super function. Why it is super? Because it gives us opportunity to call the, we are giving it here a type of an object, and it gives us opportunity to call the save function inside that object, inside itself, if that makes sense. Basically we are overriding save, but we are gonna use, after we put our slug, after we create our slug, we are gonna call that same save function to apply the changes. If we don't do this, all we're gonna do is just add the slug to our object. It will never be written inside the database. So we are using super because we are giving it type blog, and which blog, the self, the one we are working with, that one we are inside of. And we are calling its save function and passing all the arguments that were already given to it, and then save it inside the database. I hope I was clear enough on that, what that is used for. And yeah, this is our new blog model, and hopefully we won't have much changes inside it. What we now of course need to do is we need to create a migration to apply those changes, so our ORM and our model represents the state of our database, and we will do that in a second. Before we do that, I wanna go to the schema, because we made some changes here too. Of course, because we are making changes to the database and we need our schema to communicate, we need to know what fields we can send and what fields we cannot send, and how to use those fields we get when we get our object from the database. So we have added our slug. It is just a string, and it can be dump only. Why it can be dump only? Well, of course we are creating it with that function save, and we are never asking that from the user, as we said in these kinds of fields. We are having published, which is a new field that's boolean, and we are having a default value, because if we don't give value if we don't give value when we are creating a blog, if we don't give value to the published field, it's gonna be by default false. So if you don't say explicitly, I want this blog to be open to the world and be published, it's gonna be false, and it won't be. So you can't make a mistake of writing some gibberish and then clicking save, and now all the world can see how you, I don't know, talk some stupid stuff. And of course we are gonna use an image field that's gonna be URL and just has a description. So that's all the changes to the schema. I think it's quite simple. I didn't add this last week because I wanted to show how through our project we are gonna have, basically we are doing this kinds of stuff when we don't plan ahead very well, but I'm doing this on purpose so we can see how our development is working. I mean, you can never plan ahead too well. You can just plan better with experience and know what to expect. But yeah, maybe when I have more experience, I will plan ahead better. I'm not sure about that. Okay, So did I just, okay, good. Yeah. Now, how are we creating our migration? We are using the source. If you are on Bash, you're probably gonna do something like this. The path to your virtual environment, that is your home, virtual env, then my first block back in my case, and this is bin/activate. We talked about this last week. I'm using a fish shell, so I'm using activate.fish. I go enter. When this shows up here, it is activated. To leave, it's deactivate. Oops. So it's here. Now what I'm doing is listing my existing migrations. We have the initial one that comes with Freenit, and we have the blog one that we created last week. Now let's do Flask migration create and do let's call it slug. I mean, it's supposed to be descriptive for us, so we know what each DB change is doing. So I'm calling it slug. We are creating it, and then we are running our migration, and we have an error. I forgot to do something, obviously, so we have an error, and let's fix it together because I didn't test this. So we are gonna see what the error is. Value error, image is not null but has no default. Okay, let's see in my notes if I forgot something. Maybe I did, but I don't remember. I don't remember having a mistake here. If I am okay, let's see first, because let's do like this. My first block, and go to models and go to block by. Image is a text field, and that's it. And I don't see off the top of my head. Oh, okay. What I'm guessing is no, not what I'm guessing. What I'm quite sure of is because we are changing the database and we already have created the blog, we can't. We need a value inside the database for that. So what I'm gonna do is remove the database we had and go Flask migration run again, and still we have an error. Okay, it's not that. Okay, this is just guesswork. I'm not really sure currently what's going on, but I will figure it out. If not, we're gonna just remove. We are gonna just remove this field. Let me think about it. I mean, it's just a text field, so it shouldn't create problems, honestly. So, and the schema, it's not really a problem. Let's remove it, and let's go like this, because I'm not really gonna waste time figuring out why it's not working. Oh, it's possible that, okay, I got a feedback from my mentor that it's possible two migrations are doing the same thing, and I mean, that's an easy fix. If I put back here, we can check that by doing, because we already removed the database and we are not keeping any data here, we are gonna go something like this. We're gonna remove this. We're gonna just keep the initial one. We're gonna remove the database, and when we go flash migration list, did I remove everything? No, I didn't. Let's check. No, I didn't. Okay. Let's call it blog again, and let's try this. Yeah. Now we have our migration done, and without an error with image field. So I guess Meka was right, and the two migrations were doing the same thing. Doing the same DB change. So we just removed and created one migration here, as you can see. Okay, this was a small setback, but we figured it out. I mean, Meka figured it out, but okay. Now we have created our DB change. We have our schema. Now what we are gonna do with it? We had a way for our blog to be created. Now we are gonna go into that file, and because we are gonna use the schema and use the published and image already passed as an arguments, we don't need to edit our create blog post. What we want to do today is add our functions to edit the blog post, to get to only one blog post as we talked with slug, and to delete blog post. We are gonna, because we need access to one specific blog post in all those three cases, we are gonna use the slug we added, which is why we have added it. Added it. Okay, so we're gonna create a new route that's gonna go to, that's gonna go to something like this. This is a special field inside our URL that's actually a variable, and endpoint is block, because it's the same endpoint as this, but it's the same blueprint. And we are going to use a new class, that's calls class, that we will call, I guess we are going to call it blog API, and of course it is a method view. It can be, for now it is a method view. We will think about that in the future. And let's do something like this. We are gonna need a get function, because we want to get our we want to get our blog, and it's gonna be called get blog details. What we will do is, we're gonna do something. Let me just let me just copy paste so we don't waste time in my mistakes on writing. So what we are doing is doing a try, where we try and get a blog with that specific slug. If the blog does not exist, we say blog not found. If it does exist, we go return blog. Now what I forgot is we need blueprint response, that is our blog schema, because we are returning our blog, and we don't need blueprint what's it called, the blueprint request, because we are getting the slug from the URL and using that slug. So we are not getting the blog schema as our parameter. Okay, let's save that. Let's try and run the app and see, did we mess something up, or is this actually working? So this is now to get one blog, I believe it is quite simple, quite simple implementation. Okay, nothing complaining, everything is in order. Let's try and refresh. Okay, we have something here. It's a new get request, and if I go here, well, first of all, let's see, because we deleted the database, we shouldn't have any blog posts inside. Yeah, we have nothing. Let's go up, let's log in and create something that we can then try and see how it goes. Okay, admin.example.com, we go execute. It's perfect, nice and dandy. Now let's go down, not that much down. Oops, yeah, I have messed up scroll, so I'm struggling, but okay. We have, I can do this. Yeah, this is list blog posts. Let's minimize everything. Let's go and create something. First blog content here. Now, as you can see, we have a published field and we have an image. Let's go and let's see if we can find an image like this, so we don't, I wasn't thinking about, oh, we have Tilda center flask. Let's go to the website or something, we can grab an image from there. Yeah, something like this. Copy image location, exactly. Yeah, if you didn't know, this is our website. Tilda.center. So this is an image and we go execute. Did we create something? Yes, we did. We got 200 we created for the blog. Now let's go a little bit up. We want another one, so we have something to list and decide and stuff like that. Second blog, and let's go second blog content here. Let's keep everything the same. We can put this to false just in case. I'm not sure if we are gonna use this today, but I didn't want to change the database every 2 seconds. That's why I have added it right now. And we go execute. I'm not sure, did I click it? Yes, I did. Second blog content. And if you take a look here, this is how our slug looks. It's quite similar to the title, except it's lowercase and it has a dash instead of space. So yeah, that's it. We have our 2 blog posts and we go here and we try to list them. Okay, this is perfect. For now, everything is perfect. We have our first blog post, we have our second blog post, and let's go and see. I mean, this was working last week too. Now let's see this new thing that we have. Did it work? What is the slug? Let's see if we have first blog. This is the slug that was here. Now in this case, in this scenario that we are doing, it doesn't make much sense with what we write here. But if you think about it, well, this here would come somewhere here on our front end, which you can see on front end workshop, you will see, and then you know how to get this value and send it. So yeah, that is why we are using our slug as a parameter for searching. Now when I take a look, oh look, I got only one post that is the title of first blog. If I go and try to find a second blog, we can take a look and okay, I have a second blog. So yeah, that stuff works. We are quite sure that stuff works, and we have no authorization required currently. We don't care who comes, he can just get a blog. Now when you I'm not gonna talk about front-end stuff, how this will work. That's the part of the front-end workshop, but basically, trust me, the front-end will know that slug that to tell us how to get that blog post. Now, that is getting one specific blog post, and the similar we will do only to edit or delete our blog posts, because we now know how to get unique post. I keep repeating myself, and after we can do some other HTTP requests and see how to implement them. I will go with delete first because it's simple. It's just similar to get, only difference is we are calling the different function. And yeah, let's take a look now. Oops, yeah, I don't want to paste that, and I'm gonna copy paste again because I'm too lazy to write and make spelling errors. Okay, it's again in the same class, blog API, and we for this function we want the user to be logged in. Why do we want that? Well, we don't want anyone who comes to the site to be able to delete. Now, this instance of delete blog post is quite simple. It just gets the blog and deletes it. In the future, we can implement a check. Of course, we will implement a check where we will see, okay, are you logged in? Okay, are you the owner of that blog post, or are you admin? If you are, you can delete it. If you're not, I'm sorry, but that's not yours to delete. For now, I want to keep it simple so we can expand our knowledge a bit more and see how we upgrade our application. Sometimes it's when learning, it's, at least for me, learning is not the same for everyone, but I like going like this, something simple that just works, and then we can try and fix our edge cases. Of course, when you are actually creating an application, that's not the best approach, but for learning is, at least works for me. Okay, so we are we need a user to be logged in, and we again have a response that returns our blog. We call this function delete. It gets the slug same as get function, and we again try the same exact thing that we did. If you take a look here, it's the same exact code as get request. I'm sorry, we are missing the delete blog post, and after we get our blog, we go blog dot. So we are using the implementation of PV to delete this instance, and we remove it from the database and then return blog. We save this. Okay, I didn't, and we take a look. It has reloaded, and we refresh. Again, I'm going a little too down. Now, if you take a look here, we have a new endpoint that looks quite similar, but it's just a different. It has same URL, but it is a different request, so it does a different thing. This is a delete method, and of course it will delete. Now, if I go second blog, now let's do a check first. We go here, we go try it out, and we go like this, and see that we can get first blog and second blog. Perfect. Now, when we go to delete method and say second blog, we go execute. We got the blog we have deleted. It's 200, and we can then try and get our blocks again. If you take a look here, we only got the first block and total is 1. Now we can try, let me just copy this. Let me try and go and get the block details for the second block, which is deleted, and of course it's not found because it doesn't exist anymore. So that's it. That's quite simple way to delete the blog post. Now we are going to do something a little bit different. So let's summarize first what we have now in our application. Is we have ability to create a blog, we have ability to list all blogs that have been created, we can get one specific, and we can delete the blog post. And if you remember my talk from the beginning of this lecture, that I have talked about being published, and what if you don't want it to be public, and what if you write half of your blog and then want to continue later, then how will you change your blog? You can just create a new one in our case. Now what we do there is we use another HTTP method that's called patch, that's gonna update the same database entry and the same objects that we are working with and that we have already created. Now again, to get the object that we need to change, we are gonna use the slug, like, to know which exact blog we are gonna change. And let's go slow with this. I mean, there's no need to go slow. I can just paste it and then explain it on the way. Okay, now I have pasted the code, and let's take a look. This is going much faster than I thought. Okay, let's take a look. Of course, we want user to be logged in. Again, this is another place where we can implement the check. Okay, are you the owner of this blog? And then only you can edit it, or an admin. We are gonna do that in the future. For now, we are gonna keep it simple. Now, what this arguments blueprint does, this wrapper, it tells us, okay, for arguments you're gonna use the blog schema, but we have in parentheses something new, and I'm gonna take a look at the schema here. If you take a look here, we have our fields that we are adding: the title, the content, the whether it's published, and an image. Now, when we are creating a blog, we need to have all those fields filled up to create the blog. When we are or the application will say, hey, something's wrong, I can't do that, something's missing. Let's try and say except, of course, the published field, because we said, okay, if this is missing, it has default value. Now if we say here it is a title of third blog and some gibberish, and I don't care about the picture at this moment, and go execute, we will see, oh, it's not a valid URL. Okay, I do care about the picture, I forgot about that. Did I copy image location? Yeah. Now it is a valid URL, and we have a network error. Okay, I did something wrong. Let's see what is the error where I messed up something in our code. We're gonna see in a second. there's no error. I probably had an error and then fixed it, and it didn't restart. It crashed, which is quite okay. But let's do this again. I'm not sure if I need to log in. Let's try and refresh the access token. Just in case, yeah, that's cool. And let's create third blog. We said we wanna remove this just for the sake of showing it will work, and we have our URL and go execute. Okay, it's still not working. Oh, I'm having okay, let's take a look. We have some error in our code, and I'm gonna see file models block py. Our super is having none of it. Okay, let's close this down and let's go into model and see what we messed up here. So super is blog self.save, and yeah, the tool seems fine to me. Okay, and this is telling me so let's see if our API is messed up. I'm not really sure off the top of my head. So we are creating a blog post. We are just calling blog.save, and that is breaking. Oh, okay. So this not null constraint failed. Well, it's not null. We said it has a default value. Am I wrong about that? Not here. I'm sorry. Models. That is a Boolean field, but yeah. If I take a look here, the published has default that is false. Is it false? Or is it, just let me check. Schema and blog. No, it's not, it's false. Okay, I'm not really sure. This is something I wanted to show, and now it's quite a thing that's not working, and I'm quite sure that if I try, let's try to see if I can do something like this, because now we are gonna try and fix the error together, and I always get stuck on stupid stuff like this, and that is why I prepare my workshop ahead of time, so I don't waste time on doing not that. I want to delete this, I want to copy this here, and I want to delete this, and let's pretty it up a little bit. Okay, I pressed something, and let's try to execute it as published. Okay, we can't do that for some reason. For some reason it, can I do this? Try to change the schema to false, and yeah, of course no. Okay, there is something wrong which I can't figure out at this point. Again, it's quite confusing. Why do we get, let's kill it again and let's run it again. Okay, and perfect. Yes, there is, well, it's nothing wrong, it's probably my mistake somewhere where I forgot something, but from the top of my head I really can't figure out why. Okay, I'm not gonna waste time on that. Let's just go back and do the stuff that we came here to do, and yeah. So again, I wanted to create a blog, and we can list blogs and see what we have created. Now messing with the stuff. We have one blog, two blogs. Actually, we have one blog, third blog. We have two in total. What we are going to do, let's see, where was I with the code we had, because now I have lost my thought. Delete, get blog details, list blog details. Okay. Now you can see, obviously, even if we add published, wait a second, am I, no, it's not that. Okay, you can see even if we remove published, it's not working for some reason, even though it should. Am I sending a bad JSON? No, I'm not. Content string, yeah. Okay, I wasn't sending a bad JSON. Whatever. We need to send all these fields to now it's bugging me why it's not working. I'm not gonna waste time on that. I'm gonna check and tell you next week. But yeah, now when we edit our blog, which is what we want to implement, well, maybe we don't want to change the title. Did I here? No, I didn't. Okay. Create blog post, delete blog post, get blog details, delete blog post. Okay, perfect. Now let's add. Maybe we don't want to change the title. I thought I have added the whatever. I will need to take a look after this video and see what's all the kinds of stuff that I messed up. But yeah. So we have our edit blog post, and what edit blog post tells us. So we don't want to edit the title. That is why we have blueprint argument that has blog schema, which is this special. I was sure I pasted this inside the code. We have this partial equals to true. What that tells us, okay, you don't need the whole schema to send. You can just send content and I will know what to do with it. Now, what we do, we are doing the again, getting the specific block we want, and for every field inside the arguments we pass, we go, okay, set me set me that field as, set me the value of that field, for example title, to the value you have passed in an argument for this blog that we found. After we do that, we basically apply our changes, go blog.save, and we return the new blog that we have edited. We save that, we see this has reloaded, we go refresh, and let's see if everything works now. So we have our edit blog post, perfect. And let's go and try it out. Now, one thing I didn't talk about, yes, is for the first time inside our function patch, we have 3 arguments. Why we have 3 arguments? Well, we need slug to find the specific blog we want, and we need arguments to find the fields we want to edit. And that is how it will look. This is how it will look inside the Swagger. So we are sending the slug, which is our URL part. As you can see, something like this is slug, and we are sending the body. So slug is sent inside the header. Yeah, and inside the body we are sending the schema. So let's go first blog. We know the slug for that first blog, and let's go like this. We don't want the title to edit, we don't want published, we don't want to edit the image. We want to edit this. We want to edit the content to, hey, this is my content currently. Okay, and let's go to execute and see what happened. We got 200, we got the same blog, the same email, the same ID, we have the same title and slug, and we have the content, which is, hey, this is my content currently. We have changed the content. So yeah, that is a way to edit our blog. Of course, we in our case, we don't care what the previous value was, but since that is something that will be implemented from the other side, where when you click the edit button, you get the text already inside, and then you can add something or change, and then when you ship it, we get the whole string, the whole text that we just overwrite. We don't care what was in it. And yeah, I think that's about it for today. It was maybe a little bit up and down all over the place. I'm sorry about that, but I hope I was clear on our functions, what we have implemented. I hope I was clear on the use of slug. I hope I was clear on new stuff about the partial, about changing the database and stuff. We had little setbacks. I guess it happens on a live stream, but yeah, I hope you forgive me. So yeah, this is the end of today's lesson, and I really hope you enjoyed it. I really hope you will come back next week, and I will be here. Tilda Center will be here, and all our other workshops. As you know, I hope you know, all our workshops are free, but because we are open source community, and we are a hackerspace that we like our live lessons, we can stream them all the time, but we used to have a place where we learned and taught stuff, and we want to get back there again. So what we had to do is create a Patreon page where you can hopefully help us to find a new apartment and find a new place where we can set up set up a nice classroom where we can hold our live streams and get a better content for you. This is the page, patreon.com/Tilda Center, and yeah, if you can, jump on and help us. Thank you very much, and see you next week.